Hello everybody and welcome to Project Trade. This is the trading highlight show, and in this one we are going to have a bash at a technical trading strategy. And brace yourselves because it is the smooth alligator strategy. The strategy where we pile in a whole bunch of smooth moving averages and next comes profitability. We've got two indicators in the mix and hopefully they are going to lead us onto some enduring trends. First up, it's the smooth moving average itself. From the moving average family, the smooth average is a slower responder than others like the exponential or linear weighted average are. Being slower to respond may seem detrimental because it feels like you're going to miss a good part of the trend, but it will also mean that the smooth average shouldn't get you into as many false moves as those others. And here's about what it's going to look like sitting nicely on your price chart. For this strategy, we've plugged ours with 100 periods so we get a decent length of look back at price. Moving to our second indicator, it is going to be Bill Williams's Alligator. The Alligator is an indicator which is made up of three smooth moving averages. Here it is, and you can tell from the settings that these are quite fast-paced averages at 5, 8 and 13 periods. The quickest average of 5 periods is called the lips, the middling 8 period average is called the teeth, and the slower 13 period average is called the jaws. In a trend, the alligator is awake and all the lines tend to run parallel to one another, and in a range, the alligator is sleeping and the lines will cross back and forth over one another, not really knowing what to do, a sure sign of uncertainty. Now, we have done videos on both the smooth moving average and the alligator indicator if you do want any more information than that, but here and now, let's get to our entry criteria. Our 100 period smooth moving average is going to set the overall market trend for us. It's our filter. So when price is closed above the average, then we're only going to enter buy trades. And when it's closed below the average, then we're only going to enter sell trades. Then when it comes to the alligator indicator, we'll be taking the default trade of entering once the alligator awakens and the lines are in their order of fastest to slowest. Might sound strange, so here's an example of where we are very near to entering a buy trade. The faster paced average of the lips has crossed over the slower paced average of the jaws, but those teeth haven't yet crossed the jaw, so it is not an entry for us just yet. Lucky for us though, on the very next period, those teeth do cross over the jaw, making that crossover. That means we've got the green light on those lines to give us the entry signal we always dreamed of, so we buy. And then here's a sell trade example. We're nearing an entry, the teeth have crossed over the jaw, but those lips, they're not quite ready yet, so no entry. But that next candle comes and we do see them make that move across the jaws, and so we'd have the all clear then to enter into a sell trade. That's all we need to know to get us into the trades, but we'll also need some money management too. So we will be calling on our friendly neighborhood indicator, the average true range. That's what it looks like, a single line oscillator which is measuring price volatility. To simplify it down, by default the ATR measures the high to low range of price over the last 14 periods, finds the average for each of those periods, and then gives it to you as a reading, the ATR value. If you want any more information on that, we have made a video on the ATR which will be linked in the description. But how exactly are we going to use the ATR in this particular strategy? To start, we're going to split our trade into two sub trades, just giving us a bit of that flexibility. Sub trade A will have a take profit and a stop loss of 3 times the ATR value from our entry price, a nice simple 1-to-1 ratio. Something to note though, there will be a 3 pip minimum, so if the ATR is reading less than 1 pip, we will round it up to exactly 1 pip. Then subtrade B will be a trailing stop loss, which will also be set at 3 times ATR value from the entry price, and it's also got that same 3 pip minimum. We'll be hoping to use the trailing stop loss to take advantage of some longer lasting trends from price as signaled by the alligator indicator. We'll see. Each of those subtrades will have a 0.5% capital risk attached to it, so it'll be a total 1% of our money at risk every trade we take, and a couple extra precautions we're going to take in case our entry indicator signals do turn against us. First off, we're going to close the trade if price recloses across our smooth moving average, and secondly, we'll also be closing the trade if price closes across the slowest average of the alligator, the jaws. Last couple pieces to the puzzle before we get stuck in, we'll be splitting off our indicators into 2 time frames, one for each of them. The smooth moving average will be visible to us on a 4-hour chart, and our alligator indicator will be on that rapid fire can't stop yet 1 minute time frame. Won't hear a bad word said about it. And as we are trading on the 1 minute time frame, we're going to try and keep those spreads tight by trading on the Euro US dollar chart. It's got the highest volume of every currency pair in the world, so hopefully it has the lowest spreads. And we're also going to journal all of our results. No two ways about it. We would like to learn and grow from playing the strategy, and we're not going to do that by blurring the results in our mind where we eventually end up over romanticizing a strategy that we enjoyed but which actually performed pretty awfully. So we journal. That's all the rules and information we need for the strategy, so why not? Let's jump into the platform and give it a go. We do have our Euro US dollar charts pulled up. On the left is the 4-hour chart with our 100 period smooth moving average. And on the right, of course, the Alligator indicator. On the 4-hour chart, we do have price well below the moving average, which means it is only sell trades. There have been a few trades already this morning. Remember, even at this time here, this is only back at 10 o'clock, just an hour or so ago. And there has been a crossover around about here or so. It looks like it could be coming back again. Those lines have turned once more. So maybe it will be in with the trade pretty soon. Obviously, we'll have to wait for the return, but you can see they come very quickly. So let's try and get a look in at our economic calendar before that happens. Happy Real Thanksgiving Day in Canada and happy Columbus Day in the US. Still celebrating that guy. In terms of numbers, Norway CPI inflation data month on month coming in hot. 1% actual versus a 0.4% forecast. 1% a month, not ideal. We can all do the math. That makes 12% a year. Yikes. But they did get a year-on-year figure, and it was 4.1% versus a forecast of 4.2. Good thing that they beat the forecast, but yeah, 4.1% annual, not good. They'll likely have a 2% target for their inflation. So I would say that's gone above and beyond what they would like to see. And also 2.5 minutes ago, we've had Italian industrial production month on month from the Eurozone. Negative 0.2% against a flat forecast of 0.0. And that's about it for the day. There's a few speeches going on. So a couple from the Bundesbank, Biermann and Buck. A few from the ECB this afternoon. 2 from Lane, 1 from Elderson. Not likely to give us any major swings, even though we are on the Euro. If we do see some around about that time, we might be able to attribute it to that. But 3 o'clock, 3:30 on Forex, they're usually pretty popular times to trade. Other than that, GDP estimate on the GBP. And then if you are interested in the weekly Brazilian Central Bank Focus Market Report, that is at 2:30. We won't be looking at it, but feel free to in your leisure. Let's see where those charts have taken us, though. And we see we didn't quite see a crossover there. That was close. Look at how awkwardly close this is. Both those lines, the white and the aqua, basically on top of one another. We can see a touch of aqua above here and here, not seeing any below. We might see it now. Let's roll over to 10 past 11 in just a few seconds as price goes green here. And does the cross come? It does. So now we see the cross. If the lips, that white line there, comes back over, that's our entry signal. Let's get up our ATR because that could happen at any moment. We want to be prepared. Currently a showing of a 1.2 pips from the ATR. That would be 3.6 to the stop loss. From one big red candle there, we see that it might cross back over. This is so close. Now we see the cross. If it closes like that, 55 seconds time, we're in. Zoom in on this 1 minute chart. Crossover. Yeah, it's going to happen. This is so rangy though. Could very easily flip back. Here we go. It is 1.2 pips. So we'll go 3.6 for our risk. You can see it calculated on screen now. We're in with the sell trades. We do get in, so let's set the stop loss and take profit. There we go, that's 3 pips. And let's set the stop loss here of 36, and then we'll trail that as well to be 36. Biggest worry here is that these lines are so close together, the lips could easily recross the jaw with a couple of big green candles. Not even necessarily big, just reasonable sized. And then we are out. This is choppy days. I've just popped on the ask price line, which is this one at the top here. The one that's tracking the price is the bid price. When we're on the 1 minute chart, you can see the difference. Compare the spread size to the overall size of our stop loss take profit. It's 3.6 pips to the stop loss. And this spread is currently about 1.2 pips. So about a third of our distance is used up by the spread. Something you have to watch out for on the 1 minute chart. We're getting lucky though. Price coming down heavily now. That's what we want to see. Bit of that. So you can see right now it's past our take profit level for the bid line, but the ask line has still got a little bit to go. It looks like it's going to get there though. This has been a good run the last few candles. One more push. And we're in profit. We are in profit because we take a win on that trade and we see our trailing stop loss kicks in. That's currently our entry price. Even if we saw a big reverse, we've just seen that dragged forward a touch. So now we're in guaranteed profit on this sub trade as well. Brilliant. 43.92 on that one, and it continues downwards. So we see that trading stop loss move again. Currently $53. The red keeps on coming, and our trailing stop loss, it is quite a bit past where we previously took profit on our ratio trade, which means we are certain to get more money out of this one. That's exactly what we want. Look at this hot run here. Started the day with $8,774.33, already moving quite some way above that. We were due a retracement at some point. It does come and knocks our stop loss out. Good profit though, $59.78. Let's make sure on our 4-hour chart that we haven't yet still sell trades. And that crossover does come to the upside. White over aqua, as we currently see that red move that we made profit on reversing with a few consecutive green candles. Price has come all the way back up to this resistance level above where we entered the trade previously. Hopefully it consolidates a bit more, wait for this alligator to catch up with price and then make its move and maybe get in a near identical trade as well. That makes us feel good. Clock rolls over 12 o'clock and we've got the lips and the teeth both simultaneously crossing the jaw. If this is a close, we are back in. ATR currently showing 1.3, that might increase by the end of the candle, so we'll wait a second on that. A few seconds until the close here, we are going with 1.3, so 3.9 to the stop loss. The close does come, they have flattened, this is a bit of a sketchy entry, but an entry nonetheless. So our risk calculated on the screen. 1 pipette off there, but let's set the stop loss and the take profit 3 times and 3 times. 3 times, and our trailing stop loss, of course. There it is. And so we are in. Let's pull up that ask price line again. There you see, and it really does put you at a bit of a disadvantage. These spreads make a move, and move it does. The size of this candle, we should see some more downward pressure come off the back of that. Hopefully it'll be enough to trigger our take profit, which it is enough to do. Makes us wait there, but now we move on to guaranteed profit. We just had a few minutes where it ranged, came green a little bit, but here's the move. We're going to see that trailing stop loss bump again. That is very nice. $44.46 from this one, and the trailing stop loss does take a lead once more over the ratio trade, even if a beanstalk of a green candle comes and knocks our stop loss out immediately where it is now. We're still going to have a bit more from the trailing stop loss than we will from that ratio. And we do see a brief consolidation and range in price before another drop, and our trailing stop loss comes with it. How about another one? We've been in the trade just over 30 minutes or so. Last 15 periods, price not done much. Did start to retrace a bit, but not enough to get our stop loss. Came back down, but it's in this range. Wouldn't be surprised to see it go either way at this stage. Waiting for that breakout. Alright, new lows and new lows. Trailing stop loss comes along for the ride. Getting nicer and nicer. These averages are starting to come closer together now. One thing we will have to watch for is even if it doesn't hit our trailing stop loss anytime soon, we will have to close the trade if price recloses across this dark blue Jaws average. And it was pretty close last period. We have seen red so far. We've got to watch out for that. We can see the lips has recrossed the teeth. That's not an exit signal for us, but now price is above. It's getting close to our stop loss. Let's see, we've got 20 seconds left in the period. Might have to close this one out. And it does close beyond. It's close to the stop loss, but we will manually shut it off there. Even though we see price coming back down, we have to adhere to the system. It was a close beyond that period right there. What a trade though. Let's zoom out. Didn't even get a 3.5 pip retracement that entire time. It's just shy of 4 times the amount that we made from the ratio trade, which was $44.46. So we can see plain as day here the value of that trailing stop loss. It's not always going to work out like that. Sometimes it's going to be less or no profit at all for either. Still though, to get that much more puts us in really good stead. Start of the strategy, we are up at $315.74. Back down price comes heavy. Don't know if we want the re-entry, but if it comes, it comes. Price has run up the last 8 or 9 minutes or so. We do see the lines running parallel to one another. Hopefully when we do see a return to the sell side, we get a genuine signal. Another one of these. We can really see the difference here laid bare. The trailing stop loss. Look how much further that got us than just the little ratio. Really strong move for us. And after what could be considered an extended bull run here for the 1 minute chart, we are now seeing the return. The lips crosses the teeth. First time that's happened in a while. Let's zoom in on the 1 minute chart and we'll pull up the ATR as well, just in case this trade creeps up on us at a moment's notice. This is where volumes really dropped off. Look at these candles down here, and that is reflected in the ATR. Started to dip off and it's now down at 8 pipettes, so not even a full pip. which means if we do end up getting into a trade soon and it stays beneath 1 pip reading, we will obviously round that up to 1 pip exactly, which will be 3 pips to the stop loss. Zoom in, see what we got. This could just be a retracement. Wouldn't surprise me to see some green candles come. All to play for still. And we should see it come in the next couple minutes. We've got the lips over the jaw. The teeth are bang in line with it at the moment. Here comes that close. Even though price turns green, we got the entry. 1 pip there is the reading exactly. So we'll go to 3 pips for our stop loss. Can see the risk calculated on the screen now. And why don't we sell again? Off by 1 pipette again. We were pretty quick on that one. Sometimes you just miss out though. And these spreads are killing us. We better get the stop loss in quick. I feel like this is going to go. It's actually so tight that it's not letting us put that in. So we'll have to manually watch this here. Wonder if it'll let us put the profit. It will let us put the profit in. This is the struggles of the 1 minute chart. Although the way price is going at the moment, it's not even about our stop loss. It's just the fact that it could cross over this right here. When we place this, we've got to allow, the risk is about 45, so we've got to shut those off there manually. Let's close them out. What an awful trade there, absolute stinker. In it for literally a minute. We do see it come back down now. Could get another signal if it comes red again. Yeah, you saw the risk was supposed to be $45.45, has gone a little bit over that because we couldn't get the stop loss in. Brokers do vary on how tight it is. Obviously, if you trade like a normal person on something like the daily or the hourly chart, then that's not an issue because the stop loss is always going to be far enough away that you haven't got to worry about it being too tight. We'll have to see where price heads off to now. Looks more like it does want to go green, but realistically, who knows? And this is getting very choppy around this alligator indicator. Price has continued to pump upwards, a few more green candles. And so it seems that we were just caught out in this retracement here. We got the signal, both those lines, the lips and the teeth had crossed the jaw, but we were really caught out by that run up. It does happen, but it's good to see price now move up, which means hopefully we'll see it consolidate in a bit and then get a true signal back downwards. 2 o'clock and we got a big spike in volume and a big red candle to go with it. This could be a trade entry in the next few minutes. A lot of downward pressure coming in. See if that carries on. So far the entry signal has been averted by a few green candles. If we see more, those lines are turning already. We are not going to see the cross in fact. There is a steady uptrend continuing. So it looks like we were good to miss out on this one. That would have certainly been a stop loss, probably around about here or so. About 30 minutes on now, and we are seeing the first signs of a potential price reversal. This particular candle went to a low and's come back up, but we have seen the lips across the teeth. They're both moving in on that jaw, and we do get the crossover as we just turn past 3 o'clock. As soon as this candle closes, we'll be in with the trade. What's our ATR? Currently 1.2. Likely to increase by the end of this candle. There we see it go to 1.3, so we are going to be on 3.9 pips to the stop loss. Back in with a sell trade. Let's hope we do better than last time. Can see our risk calculated on screen now. Confirmation we have. Let's get in there. There's our trades. Hopefully this time we are allowed at the distance we are to get that stop loss and take profit in. And then same with this one. Let's set it while it lets us and change the trailing stop loss as well. Let's put the ask price again. Find that quite useful to be able to see to a true distance to our stop loss. Let's say not as essential if you're going to be trading on the daily chart, something like that, but with the minute chart where it's as tight as this, those spreads really do account for a decent portion of the way to your stop loss. And it is already getting very close to our stop loss. Looks like it will trigger with just a small push. Price is above the jaw. So regardless of whether it does, if it closes like that at the end of the period, it's a manual trade. And again, really not looking good for us here. We can see those lines are turning back up, looking like they're going to recross one another. Here comes the close. It's got 5 seconds. Can price come back down beneath the moving average? Doesn't look like it's going to. It does not. It closes there. So we will manually close those out for another loss. Not good at all. We managed to hopefully save a little bit. We'll see where price goes. If it goes up even by just a few more pipettes, which it does, so it would have hit our stop loss. So we saved a little bit there. It's getting in right at this support level here, and we see the recross of these averages happening already. Once again, we've been duped by the alligator. Price has found new highs before ranging a bit at the top here. But there's no doubt that these kind of trades are whittling away at the good profits that we made from the enduring trend this morning. And suddenly now we saw a red candle come in the last period, and that has formed a crossover. Both the lips and the teeth are currently across. We can see that if we zoom in. 35 seconds until the end of the candle. Currently we're looking at a 1.1 ATR. Here comes the close and the confirmation is there. Only 1.1 pips on the ATR. It's going to be tight again, but you can see our risk calculated on screen. So this one's a real one. We can't really handle any more fakies. Let's see if we've got the room to maneuver here. We certainly do. And same with this one, 33 points. And naturally, of course, we will do the trail, 33 points. Trade's looking okay at the moment. Have had some lows that were pretty close to the take profit. Not there yet though. And we do take some profit. Trading stop loss jumps forward. Guaranteed profit for us. Threatened a bit of a retracement there, but we had plenty of room to maneuver, and look at it move now. We're going to see that trading stop loss, massive jump there. Good stuff. And after a period of ranging here, the price has found new lows, and once again the trading stop loss is going to beat out the ratio trade. It's gone just past where we took profit for the ratio. New lows means new profits, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Pressure down on price. Sellers definitely in control at this moment. And as we go into 4 o'clock, we can go onto our 4-hour chart, zoom in, we're going to see the birth of a new candle here. Price stays below the average though. So let's focus back in on that 1-minute chart. Big run up from price there, and it does take the stop loss out. But hey, that was a very nice trade there. About 50% extra profits on top of the $45.90 we made for the trading stop loss trade. $66.15 in the end. And so now we are back up $244.67 for the day. Just after 4:15, price has made a real run to the upside over the last few candles. It's sort of been creeping up, and in the last period did see a big green one come. Price surging upwards again over the last couple periods. Now this seems to be a bit of a resistance though. It'll be interesting to see if it can break out of that or if it takes downward. If it does go downward, it's very likely that we'll end up in a sell trade off the back of that. Watch this space. And we aren't seeing any action. It's not like the lines are really far apart, but they are clearly in a trending environment to the upside, where price is moving up, consolidating, etc. Here does come signs of the entry signal. We've got the teeth and the lips on top of the jaws, neither of them quite past it just yet. And it does look like it is certainly going to come here just a few seconds left. ATR at 1.3, which is 3.9 to the stop loss. You can see our risk calculated on screen now as we get ourselves into a sell trade. Whoosh, and we are in, so we've got 39 and 39. It's all good to set. Same here, 39, and let's set that trading stop loss in. Same as usual. There we go. Been a while since we've been in a trade, so hopefully it's a genuine one. There's that ask price line showing exactly how close we are to the stop loss. No trades less than a minute long, please. Very close to our stop loss. Does look like as though we are going to get kicked out of it in just a moment's time. We'll hope for the reversal, of course, but we can see that ask price there is just tilting below the stop loss. The only reason I keep talking is because I'm that certain that it is going to knock it in the next couple seconds or so. Which it does, and this is very dangerous territory now because we're seeing the alligator, it seems to be falling fast asleep. The lines haven't recrossed yet, they're just sort of touching one another, but this could be absolutely lethal. If we see price come back up and then come back down, we'll get back into an entry right at this support level again. This doesn't look like it's going to go well. There's the trade there. You can see in total we lost about $94. Still up for the day, $150.71. See what happens though, the lines have crossed and we do see price coming back down. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. We could see a recross getting us back in. This is what I mean, only 2 minutes on and we're getting the signal again. You can see the white and the aqua passing over the dark blue. 45 seconds, we're in with a sell trade again. Here we go again. This one's even tighter on the ATR, 1.2 pips. It's not going to go well, but here we go. You can see our risk calculated on screen now. It's another sell trade, very close to where we were in before. Slightly better entry, I suppose. Stop loss, take profit again. This is trade number 7 for the day. I may have spoken too soon though, as we currently are sitting halfway towards our take profit, near enough. So close here, there we go. Happily do I eat my words as we take profit now. We've banked $44.64. This trading stop loss has jumped into position. Wonder if we can get to the point with this where it takes enough profit from our trading stop loss trade to make up for the losses on the last trade. Either way, at least there's some of it back into the bank now. Cheers to the happy days. Couple times now, price has edged near to our stop loss, getting right up in its face. Hasn't quite made it yet though. It does get it now though. That is the stop loss. Let's take a look at the trade. $26.04. So for once, well, for the first time of the day at least, the ratio trade beats out the trading stop loss. $44 against 26. That will be our last trade of the day though. Pretty good day for us, $221.39 positive. If we zoom out, we should be able to see all of our trades. There's been some clear trends. Even before we started, this one could have got you something decent potentially. And then we managed to get this one here, our magnum opus of the day, right there, that $167 trade. That set us up right for the day. But we made profit even if you excluded that one. If that one was complete loss, we still made money. These two in the middle here, those ones with the retracements that set us back for a minute, but then we took some more profit. And then same again up here. We had a retracement. We weren't able this time around to take as much profit to get those losses back, but we still do end the day pretty comfortably in profit. So why not trade it again for a second session tomorrow? Day 2 just about to roll over to 10:30. There it is. What have we had this morning? This would have been a nice run. If we say we'd get in here, or even if here, that would still, that's about 9 pips. Definitely a take profit. Trade and stop loss would have been caught out by the retracement. Didn't see a recross, so price carries on in this downward trend. That would have been a nice move, or hand wave all these rangy signals we would have got. There's 1, 2, almost 3, 2 or 3 signals in there. Not sure how that one would play. Let's go to the economic calendar, see what's going on. A few national days in Brazil. Happy Our Lady of Aparecida Day, if that's how you pronounce it. Aparecida. And happy Columbus Day in Mexico. It was Columbus Day yesterday in the US. So Columbus arrived in the United States on one day and then immediately went down to Mexico, arriving there the next day. Fast travel, that man. Good for him. And finally, Fiesta Nacional de España, the Spanish National Party Day. All right, that was the important stuff. Let's see what numbers we've had. New Zealand dollar electronic card retail sales month on month, 0.9% actual against 7.8% forecast. Pretty poor chart there, but a lot better than the negative 19.7% from the previous. And their yearly coming in weak as well, negative 14.9 versus 10.3 forecast. British Retail Consortium retail sales on the Great British Pound year on year, negative 0.6 against a forecast of 0.3. Bank of Japan Corporate Goods Price Index month on month, 0.3 actual versus negative 0.7% forecast. South Korea holds their interest rates at 0.75%. Could see that change in the coming months. They are no exemption from the inflation concerns. Swedish registered unemployment rate 7.5% versus 7.4% forecast. Not terrible. I'm sure they'd like it a little bit lower though. Great British Pound unemployment rate coming in at 4.5% as forecast. Not too shabby, but average weekly earnings total pay year on year didn't make the forecast, only 7.2 versus 7.4% forecast. Their claimant count change was down by 51,000 as well, when they thought it was going to be up by 47,000. Great Britain not going to be disappointed with those numbers. That's what we've had so far. Next numbers coming in at 12:05 from the Centre for European Economic Research. We've got the economic sentiment indicator and economic situation from Germany, plus the economic sentiment indicator for the Eurozone as a whole. 2 o'clock, Mexican industrial production month on month and South African manufacturing production month on month. Can't see those having an impact. And same for these Indian numbers coming in at 3 o'clock. Yearly numbers for industrial production, manufacturing production, and CPI. That CPI is forecast at 6.81%. It's quite high, and the actual could be higher. Some ECB speeches around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Board member Lane, President Christine Lagarde, and board member Elderson. 5 o'clock on the US dollar. That's the biggest one of the day. Job openings and labor turnover survey. That's a pretty relevant jobs report. How many vacancies are out there? That's what we're looking at. Forecast at 11.259 million. Then if we're still trading into the evening, 6:15 speech from Fed Vice Chairman Clarida. Might have some good stock tips. 7 o'clock, the World Agricultural Supply and Demand Estimates report. And 8 o'clock, the 10-year note auction will be in there as a competitive bidder. That's it then. Any big times for us to watch? Might see some impact at 12:05 from these economic sentiment indicators. They are pretty relevant, but whether we see that feed through in terms of volume might not happen purely because we're in the European session. The volume really starts to come in around 3:30, where we've got the crossover of European and American markets being open. And so I would say 5 o'clock should see the most impact with those US dollar job openings. You never know though, plenty of speeches throughout the day. Maybe someone throws a curveball in one of them. Let's head back on those charts, see where we're at. Well, we did just get a crossover, so this is looking like pretty good timing. Obviously, we're still only sell trades on the 4-hour chart. So let's zoom in on that 1-minute chart, get a closer look, zoom in even more. In fact, we haven't actually seen the cross just yet. It might finish that way, it depends what price does now. We do see that crossover happen, which means now all we need is for that white line, the lips, to come back through across the teeth and get us into a sell trade. Price in the last period making a bit of a run down. Doesn't head out of a range, but it does put us on notice for this crossover. Could come in the next few periods. There we go, and we do see the close. Let's get up our ATR. 1.2 pips, that's 3.6 pips of the stop loss. You can see our risk calculated on screen now. How about a stop loss and a take profit? 36 points, 36 points. And same for this one here. And we are in. We can see the take profit, but not the stop loss. Usually the other way around. It's a good sign. Still though, we do want an actual trend to form. These lines have been pretty choppy, quite rangy. Hopefully this is the alligator waking up. Don't want to see too many of these green candles come. Nice moves we're seeing. Did push back against us for a second, but now we're in the profit zone. Let's have another red candle like that. Not this green. Keep going red. Get us to the profit. After those couple nice candles though, price really not liking this support level, and it's bounced and we are currently out of profit. Doesn't mean it's going to hit our stop loss. I mean, we see it come red for this second, so hopefully that's a drop again. If we zoom out, we can see how this is a support level and how our take profit is just beyond it. So we got to the point where the bid price would get there, but the ask price not yet. Hopefully the fact that it's been tested now a couple times means that maybe it can get down there and breach through, or even just probe through. Get us into that profit, that's all we need. Again, we've seen price test it the last minute and then retreat right back up. Didn't set a new low. With 10 seconds to go left in this period, we are seeing price come up. It's going to close above the jaw in just a few seconds without a big drop now, which means we will be manually closing these trades off, which we will. So let's shut those down. Got caught by a bit more of a run up there as well. Yeah, it didn't like this support level. This would have been the time. This is what we were hoping for it to get past. Couldn't though, so we do take a loss. Not as bad as a complete loss, but who knows what's going to happen with price. We could easily be back in just a few seconds because we see price coming back down instantly, and these alligator lines will absolutely turn with that price. Let's pull up that ATR. We're getting the signal again. Could come in just a minute here. We need the close. ATR showing a very narrow reading, just 1 pip, so it'll be 3 pips to the stop loss. You can see our risk calculated on screen now. With just 3 pips, will it let us set that stop loss? No, not yet. So the risk is $44.82. We'll have to manually watch these and close them out when they hit that amount. Yes, we can get these stop losses in now. That's what we want, just because it's moved a little bit to our favor there. Kind of ridiculous that they don't let you set it. We've only had the problem when it's been the 3 pip ATR, even when it was 3.6 or 3.3, didn't have an issue then. Still though, all we're really doing is just lifting our own guillotine. We are about 20 seconds and we'll see price close beyond the jaw, and it does close there. We also see the lips go beyond the teeth. Really weak trade once again. Not off to a good start this morning. At least they weren't full losses, so it's not the worst. Here we can see this would have been a complete loss. So actually we did save about $30, $35. We do at least seem to be seeing a breakout to the upside now. After a rangy half hour or so, it does look as though the lips and the teeth are going to make the cross. And there they do. So if we get a close like this, which I'm sure we will, then we'll be in again with a sell trade, but price is coming down quite a lot already. See if we miss that move. Let's put up the ATR. So this big red candle does push the ATR on from 1 pip to 1.1 pips. Here comes that close. So you can see our risk calculated on the screen now. We're back in with a sell. 33, 33. See, when we're there, it's no problem. It's only 3 pips. That's the problem with setting the actual stop loss. That seems to be the distance where it's too tight. It's been an interesting one. It's already cut off quite a bit of this move. Our take profit is slightly above the lower edge of the support level. So if price does keep coming down, we might get a chance to trigger that. I think we've missed most of the move. I think getting in at the start of this candle seems like it would have been crucial. Having the stop loss then at least at the resistance or above the resistance level, and being able to get in on most of this move here. Give you quite a bit more to work with. Even though it hasn't actually cost us that much in terms of what's happened with our trades, the spreads make me very anxious. They're so wide, and there we go. That's a full and complete loss, immediately caught out by the retracement there. $44.55 per sub trade, and those trades lasted 1 minute and 22 seconds. Oof. And look at it go. The price does continue the run. What a weird move. Did have increased volume, but then buyers stepping right back in. Price carrying on in a range now. Come back down from the highs there where it knocked us out. Not a lot we could do about that. It would take out about 4 or 5 times ATR. So, I mean, how wide do you want to go with it? Not ideal, but such are the markets. And we did get those numbers from the Centre of European Economic Research. In Germany, sentiment indicator coming in at 22.3 actual against 33.5 forecast. And economic situation 21.6 against a forecast of 33.8. So a double miss there for the German economy. How did the Eurozone as a whole get on for their sentiment indicator? Not so good either. 21 actual and 37 was forecast. Outlook not as good as they would have hoped within Germany and the Eurozone, but doesn't seem to have had any real impact on our chart. Price breaching to the green side now has seemingly taken out this resistance level, which means we can eagerly await another trade if we do see a reversal. We're just about seeing a crossover on our charts. It's very narrow, and if price does put out a decent sized green candle, that cross won't happen, so it is to play for at the moment. ATR is currently 1.3. That would be 3.9 to the stop loss. The candle is holding though as we go into the new period. There we see. So you can see our risk calculated on screen now. Let's get right into those sell trades. There we are, and we can set our stop loss and take profit as always. Again, obviously we want to see is a red candle, not just because it means we're closer to the take profit, but because we want to get away from the jaw. It's when you first enter the trade that you suddenly can find yourself with only a couple green periods coming, and then you're out of the trade. Not what we want at all. Moving all right for us here, about halfway to the take profit. We are so close to our take profit here. All we need just one more push, few more pipettes. Now we're seeing a retracement though. It's heading back towards our entry price. Hopefully that's all it is, just a retracement. And this price move here that's coming into the market, it's a big one. And when this candle closes in 10 seconds time, extremely likely that price is going to be above that average. It's going to be another manual close off. We were ever so close to profit, and we closed them off at what turned out there. I think that turned out to be completely flat, yeah, so nothing gained, nothing lost. But that is a disappointment still. We were incredibly close to taking profit down here, a whisker away, and especially since we're seeing the return of price now, we could be back in just a moment's time, as is always the risk with the Alligator in this kind of range here. If we look at the day we faced so far, from high to low, it's only been 11 pips. Not a lot for us to work with at all. We need those real trends. We remain $188.65 down for the day, $32.74 up for the strategy as a whole. Okay, we are getting back in again here. We're going to see a signal. This is going to close in just a few seconds. ATR is at 1 pip, so don't know if we'll be able to set the stop loss for this one, but you can see our risk calculated on screen anyway. It's only 5 minutes after we were in the last trade, so pretty quick to get back in another sell trade. But nevertheless, we follow the system in. Let's see if we can get that quick. Nope, not yet. So the risk is $44.04. We'll be on the lookout to manually close that if the time comes. This can't be a good trade. Yeah, extremely low faith today in this super rangy environment, and especially with the narrow stop loss. Okay, that's enough movement that we should be able to get this in. We do. Ooh, can we get that one? There we go. So they are set, and the trailing is now set too. There's the take profit down there. Has it been there today? It has not, so it would be a brand new low, which means it's got to get through this first support level, which we're at right now, and then a second support level down here as well. Price has been ranging for the last 10 minutes, but now it does catch the stop loss. So there we go. Both trades wiped out for a complete loss again. 5 trades today, 4 losses, 1 break even. And now the strategy as a whole does move into a loss as well. $13 down. We're just seeing the crossover happen now again, 19 minutes past 1. So if we get the close at the end of this candle, we will be in. And it's right at this support level that we're going to be in. This is, yeah, I'm going to go on a limb and say this isn't looking like a good signal again. ATR still only at 1 pip. It's because up here, what a narrow range this is. Wouldn't mind seeing a boost on that. Not enjoying these super low ATRs, and we do actually see it boost at least to 1.1, so we can call that 3.3 to the stop loss. You can see our risk calculated on screen now as we get back in the mix once more with a sell trade. Let's see how it goes. Price has been pretty uncertain, mostly just hovering around our entry price. We're now seeing the lips line recross the teeth, and we do have to watch for price getting above the jaw. Price does seem as though it's about to close well above the jawline. It's got 5 seconds now to retrace back from there. Hopefully it doesn't hit our stop loss in that time either. But there is the close, so we shut down those trades. It's another loss and we fall deeper down the rabbit hole. We took our first trade less than 3 hours ago. 10.54 was the first trade. And since then, $340.36 down. And there's no reason to suspect this won't continue either. It's very likely, in my opinion, we'll see price come up about here. We might see a couple more green candles, but it'll bounce off resistance. At some point, it'll come back down. We'll see a recross pretty shortly. See if we can get back in here. Trade number 7 could be coming up. Yep, and here it is. Just a few minutes later, we see the recross. That's where we got out. 3 red candles since then. And if we get there at 153, this close is almost certainly going to happen. We need a big green candle to see any type of reversal. It's just not going to happen. We will be in 40 seconds time. ATR currently showing 1.2. And we need to hope the price doesn't cross above the jaw. Are we going to get it? We get the close, so we have to take the signal. And quite a jump there, separating those by 4 pipettes. But let's set these stop loss and take profit here. 36, 36. 36 is going to be a bit of a difference. Price just sat in a range at the moment. Again, we came pretty close to taking profit right down here. But back up it's come. We are still in profit by a small margin, which is better than nothing, but we're not seeing a lot of movement at the moment. 10 seconds to go on the candle, and it looks like it's going to be the same thing taking us out as before. Although back down price comes, it's wavering around the moving average at the moment. Looks like it is going to close above it, which means a manual close for us. Let's shut them off quickly before we get into a loss. We have found our way into profit for this particular trade. Look at that, absolutely golden there. $8.40 on that trade there, and $4.80 on our second sub trade. Incredible stuff. In fact, the change there is rounded off on that second sub trade to 0.00%. Strong movement, and we do see price turning red here. Again, lips cross over teeth, same thing as always. We could be back in just a couple minutes if we see those red candles. This is the life of the range. Price starting to open up a bit on the charts here. We really see the moving averages moving like they should in a proper trend fashion now. If you were in on uptrends with this pattern, that would be a take profit for you on this strategy. And at least for us, hopefully it means that when price does turn fully, that we get a much clearer entry signal than when it's just ranging. And we are seeing it come sharply off the top over the last 3 or 4 candles. Red suddenly bursts onto the scene. The lips cross over the teeth. If it keeps coming down like that, not going to be long until we're in a trade. Okay, and it has been ranging for quite a while, but we are finally seeing a breakthrough. If we get the close here, 50 seconds time, another sell trade it is for us then. 1.1 currently on the ATR, naturally 3.3 to the stop loss. We've got a bit of distance between price and the jaw at the moment, especially if it's to retrace from this current green candle. So hopefully won't be immediately closing it out. But our risk is calculated on screen now if you want to check that out. Sell trades they are. 33 and 33, we are fine to set those. Stick that trailing stop loss in and the regular stop loss too. Let's have some faith in this one. And stone the crows, we have actually taken profit. That is incredible. Very pleased to see that. The smile comes across my face as we do secure $43.23. Now, hopefully, our other trade, our trailing stop loss, if that can get to $283.94, we will be back in profit for the day. This is good to finally get some money though, and in fact, that's 2 back-to-back winning trades we're on now, even though it was only a very small portion in the last one. The moves are happening, price continues downwards, we're going to see that trailing stop loss bump. Finally we're in with something. And it really has made a move here, another candle. And so now our trailing stop loss much further than our ratio trade already. It's going to be getting more money out of it. Unfortunately though, the stop loss does go. Price whipsawed back. What a move though as we go into 330. Volume comes into the market, and what do we take home on that one? $82.53. Gets our loss for the day down to $201.40. At least we are getting some back. And meanwhile, some of the economic numbers that have been feeding through this afternoon, we did get that Mexican industrial production month on month, 0.4% actual against negative 0.2% forecast. And for the South African manufacturing production month on month, strong beat for them, 7.6 actual against negative 0.2 forecast and a negative 8.4 previous. I'll be pleased with that. Big misses for India on their industrial and manufacturing production year on year. CPI number was 4.35%, preferable I would imagine to the 6.81% forecast. Got the JOLTS job openings at 5 o'clock still, as we do see price coming down, and it looks like unfortunately that we've just been caught on a retracement as it does go to fresh lows and looks like it wants to keep going as well. Damn, we have really missed the second half of this move here. That retracement just kept us out. And now, what a plummet here. Trailing stop loss would have been going with it. Some profit is good, but all this profit would have been a lot nicer. Price has retraced enough from the bottom of this move here that now the lips have recrossed the teeth, which means we keep an eye for those sell trades now. We're about to get an entry signal here. Price had been coming up and then just ranged across the top. Close is about to come. You can see our risk calculated on screen, 1.9 on the ATR, which is quite a bit wider stop loss than what we've been used to on these trades. It's the impact of the volume that we see around about this time, but at least it means when we set it here, we get a good bit of distance on it. And let's trail that one to the same. Although, you know, you say you get a good distance on it, and immediately when you see a green candle on it, especially when we put up the ask price line, then all of a sudden it doesn't look like you've got as much distance to go as you thought you might. Here comes that retracement, and we have literally just seen a close above the moving average there. Let's manually close those off. It's the same story for us as a lot of the trades we've seen today. We didn't see this as much yesterday, if at all, but today we get the signal in. Price just doesn't know what to do with itself. We did get into a touch of profit for a few seconds, but it comes back up above the jaw and we have to close it off. Not a full loss again, but partial loss halfway. Should get the US dollar job openings numbers as we roll over 5 o'clock. In just about 1 minute's time, we are going to see confirmation of a sell trade for us. It's looking pretty certain. Let's get up our ATR. You can see the JOLTS job openings there as well. Was a miss for them. 10.439 million compared to 11.259 million forecast. Still though, as of right now, we're seeing the euro weaken, and as soon as we get this close in 25 seconds, that'll be us in. With all the volume in the market, we've seen quite a bit of volatility come in, so it was 2.2 on the ATR or 6.6 pips to the stop loss. You can see our risk calculated on screen now. And we're back in. 66 there, 66 there. Hopefully these last. They do have that wider ATR. If it was 3 pips, we'd be gone already. At least that stop loss a bit above the resistance level where it's been tested. Not if you include the ask price line, but still better there than just down here. Although on the flip side of that, our take profit would be at a low price of the day. It's possible, I wouldn't entirely rule it out, but price has been so whipsaw today that I do expect to see more of that. Or based on a lot of our trades, we could just end up in a range after a while and then have to close it down when price doesn't know what to do, the alligator doesn't know what to do, and price ends up just floating over the jaw. We've seen plenty of that. Going for us quite nicely at the moment. No major moves in the last couple minutes, but steadily to our favour. Could see this getting profit. Turns to 5:34 p.m. and we do see price has been ranging for some time now, and it just about closes above the moving average there, the jawline. So we have manually closed it out. It just drifted there for a while. Price didn't know what to do with itself. Alligator didn't know either, and so price has just found its way eventually across the line there. Small amount of profit from it, better than a loss. But we do end the day down $233.41, so we can't quite get the overall strategy back into profit. $12.02 down. It was a rough day for us today. Not gonna lie, that was a slog. A lot of false moves in here, and a few where we came really close to taking profit as well. Or we got caught out just about by a retracement. That was the one big move of the day. If we were looking at that on a back test, we'd probably say, yeah, we'd get all of that, but we can see what actually happened there. We did just about get caught out by it, right up at that point. So not a good day, obviously, but an excellent comparison for what can happen on a day where price ranges, whipsaws, a lot of false signals come, and you get a bit of bad luck as well. How that differs compared to yesterday, where we got a few different trending environments, more certainty within the moves. You can see it can make all the difference. That is it for this session. We will be back for one more day to see if we can get it back into profit. Let's have a trending day. If it just trends all day, no retracement, well, we could make quite a lot of money. We will be back then, 10:30, and we are back on the charts for the final session. Still on the Euro US dollar. Let's take a quick look at the left-hand chart, the 4-hour. We can see our smooth average still above the price. No madness overnight, which means we continue to be in sell trades. So we'll focus in on that 1-minute chart. That looks like a potentially nice run if you didn't get caught in the retracements. We wouldn't have been in on it though with our sell trades only. And if you were in on sell trades during the Asia session, this looks like a rough time for you. Entry, entry, entry. It continues. There's a lot of entries out there, maybe 7 or 8, possibly more. And barely a downtrend to mention along the way. Hopefully that's the end of that. We can zoom in on the current. There was in fact just a crossover before. I think that would be around about here. Wouldn't be knocked out yet, but wouldn't be any profit to speak of either. Before we start jumping in trades, let's have a look at our economic calendar. Numbers we've already had. Food price index month on month from New Zealand, up 0.5% against a forecast of negative 0.1. Food getting more expensive down there. Korean unemployment at 3.0%. Not as good as the 2.8 previous, but they did beat the forecast of 3.6. Plenty of workers in South Korea. China's trade balance coming in positive $66.76 billion against the forecast of 41.72. And look at what we had at 9 o'clock. German CPI, 0% actual against 0% forecast with a 0% previous. And I can tell you that the previous before that was 0% as well. So they have been absolutely flat on their CPI in Germany for 3 months straight now. The HICP is at 0.3%, but still, if the CPI figures are accurate, there's a very consistent reading that we're getting out of Germany. Well done to them. Quite a few numbers on the pound as well. Industrial production month on month, 0.8% against 0.2% forecast. Manufacturing production month on month, 0.5% against 0.4% forecast. Both those figures up on the previous and up against the forecast. They should be pleased with a bit of a beat on those numbers. Trade balance did come in at negative £14.9 billion with an expected of £11.58 billion. So not the best there, but the most crucial figure for them, the month-on-month GDP, and it was a really strong beat, 0.4% actual against negative 0.6 forecast. They should be happy with that growth as we see the quarterly come in at 2.9%. Those are our figures so far. Only one event left in the day coming from Europe, and that's 12 o'clock industrial production month-on-month for the Eurozone as a whole. Forecast at 0.4%, but we do get a very important US dollar number coming through at 3:30. That is the CPI month-on-month forecast at 0.4%. That'll be the one everybody's watching. It'll be very jittery if it comes in above 0.4% for some sort of vindication for the Fed. If it goes a bit lower, should see an influx of volume and volatility at that point. And that will likely be it for us. 4:30, you've got a Bank of England speech from Cunliffe, not important. And then 9 o'clock, the Federal Open Market Committee minutes, along with the federal budget balance. Unlikely we'll still be trading then. A lot of traders do like to get involved then though, even though it's right towards the end of the day. So if you are in the markets at that time tonight, just watch out. So it's the CPI that will be honed in on of all the events today. But good to know what's going on elsewhere regardless. On the charts, we are seeing a breakout to the green. Currently it's taken out this resistance level and it's got right up to this one. Seems to be coming back down though. Might be rejected from this price. We'll watch for those lines to recross. Based on the previous 2 days, I don't think it'll be that long before we get a trade. And right we are. We do now see a crossover just about. The candles come green. But if we see any red, it's going to close this way. Let's pull up our ATR. Our ATR currently showing at 1.5. Does give us some room when we get in this trade. We're much more anxious about price crossing over the jawline. We get the close just about and you can see our risk calculated on screen. And of course, just because it's a new day doesn't mean that we don't go setting our stop loss and take profit on both trades, including our trailing stop loss, which we can also set at 45 points. So look at that ask price line. True vision of where we're at. Price is going to have to sink quite a bit to get to the take profit. Would have liked to have seen the stop loss above the resistance level, but realistically, as I say, the problem is closing across these averages. And that's exactly what's going to happen. 5 seconds to go on our first candle into the trade, and we will be shutting this off as price comes well above the jawline and well above all those averages. So let's close those down. There's our trades. We were in it for 1 minute 53 seconds and $64 down to start the day. We do see the lips recross the teeth and the jaw, so we might get an entry in just a few moments time. Let's hope the price continues its confusion and we see it come back through, but with a real sign this time, not a fakey like this one. Does mean we'll be playing catch up for the rest of the day now. Here we go, 11:01, and we are going to be getting into a trade again. It's a sell trade. Just a minute's time. We're definitely going to get that closed. We didn't have enough time to close down the ATR, so we don't have to pull that up again. Has gone down though, currently showing 1.4, and we are about to get the trade that we always dreamed of. We're back in again. Let's sell the market away. Price coming back up. Stop loss and take profit plugged in. When the alligator is choppy, it really does leave you in the lurch a bit. You either have to choose between losing your signal entirely when price recrosses these averages and they recross each other even. You either give it up then, or you risk it and you let it run. Neither option ideal, but we are seeing price come up here. And again, if it closes beyond the average, we'll be shutting the trade down again immediately, which is what's going to happen. Here we go. Let's close that out. And there we are. That is a second losing trade. And in the space of about 8 minutes or so, we're down $134.74. We do see that the lips are going to recross the teeth, which means we might get another entry signal just a few minutes or so. Let's look forward to that one coming. Price has been sneaking up over the last 15-20 minutes. Just come off the top now, we do start to see those moving averages turn. This second trade here, where we've manually closed, it would have been a complete loss, but we could really do with an indicator that only keeps us in one trade, or maybe not closing the trade when price recrosses the alligator. These two partial losses were more than one complete loss would have been. Either way leads to losses though. We're just trying to reduce how many we get. Price continues to break north, nothing for us at the moment, and we see the lines cross there over the jaw, which means if we get the close 55 seconds, we'll be in with the sell trade. Let's hope this is a genuine move. At least based from this candle, we've got a bit of gap between price and the jaw currently. That could all change in a moment's notice though. Let's have a look at the ATR. Current reading 1.2 pips. And of course our risk is on the screen now as we get the confirmation and we start selling it off. 36 points and 36 points. And same here, 36. And in that trailing stop loss, all the same there. Lacking in optimism based on this morning's trades, but we have seen momentum go quite a bit to the upside. If price has an overall range on it, it could easily come back down. We wouldn't need to get into new lows. Price a touch in our favor. Does look like it wants to push down. We see it go red there. And if we take a glance at our economic calendar, we can see that Eurozone industrial production month on month did come in negative 1.6 actual against 0.4% forecast. Pretty bad miss for them. And from China, we also saw a new loans figure coming in less than expected, 1.6 trillion against a forecast of 2 trillion. So the next one for us is that big one, CPI at 330 US dollar. But for now, we're focused on our trade, which had looked like it was going well, now coming back, reversing the fortunes of that previous candle. This is the move now. Look at these last couple red candles. Price is coming down. One more pipette or two. There we go. It triggers and our trailing stop loss kicks in as well. What a red candle. Biggest one we've seen so far. It's about to close as well. So it's going to be sustained. Very nice move. $45.60 on that one. Locking in some profits for the day. Let's hope this one can get some more. We don't want to see an immediate reversal of this candle. Although if it does that and continues, that's fine because it won't trigger the stop loss. But now that we are in with the trailing stop loss guaranteeing profit, we would like to see it move quite a bit more. Around about just over $100 would see the strategy back in profit as a whole. Started at 8,774. Currently now floating around 8,700. Let's get that move. Price coming back from that retracement, making another run for us. Price making a sudden sharp green candle now, not far from our stop loss. And it does get our trailing stop loss. Price with a big push up had been slowly trending that way, but at least we made money from it. The ratio trade beats out the trailing stop loss in this one. $45.60 for the ratio, $20.40 for the trailing stop loss. Still though, it's usually worth giving the trailing stop loss a go when you're trying to get those trends. It could have easily had a big drop off and get us even more. We might see another crossover though. We have seen the lips across the teeth. If we see price come red, we'll get in there. Coming into 12:42 p.m. and we should see, there we go, the lips do cross over the jaw. All we need is confirmation when this candle closes at 12:43 and will be another sell trade. ATR at 1.1. Price has come down quite a bit this last period. Feels when that happens like we've missed the move, but let's take the signal as we do get the close here. You can see our risk calculated on screen and we can set the stop loss and the take profit. Well, this candle is still moving in our favor. Doesn't have to get to a new low today. Would have been really nice to be in at the start of this candle. And that would have been take profit already, but we are seeing the move. Look at the volume come into the market. We are almost there. Come on, let's take profit before we see a reversal on it. When you see a move like this, it can easily snap back just as much. So let's keep it going. But the serve has been returned. Now looking a lot more likely to be a loss. And that's the stop loss. There it goes. Would have taken profit just about had we been in at the start of the cross. Since we wait for the confirmation though, we got in this candle and we did manage to ride it right down, really close to a profit there. Who knows where price is going to go. These V-shaped moves are so unpredictable. Keeps going up though. Really poor trade for us. Nearly $100 lost. And that puts us down $165.10 for the day. We're going to need a strong trend to get back today's losses, never mind yesterday's as well. We are seeing the price right up at resistance level, and it breaks through in extreme fashion. Look at that price move. Could see more of that. Continues to push. If you've got a trading stop loss going north on this one, you're going to get some profits out of that. The breakout continues. Price on the rise. We're only sad that it's happened to the upside instead of the downside. This would have been a really nice move. We'll wait for that reversal. The moving averages do chase price pretty quickly, so even after a long uptrend, we can see it reverse pretty sharp. Price is ranging around this top area. Narrowly missed a crossover just a couple minutes ago, but if we see red candles come, that crossover won't be far behind it. Likely that we're going to see a crossover here. There it is. So we just got to wait for confirmation of that. It's still in this range up here, so this isn't giving us the most confidence in the signal. We'd want to see a breakout. Maybe price comes above the jaw before we even get the signal. Let's pull up our ATR though. And it's been very narrow, only showing 9 pipettes, which means it will round it up or it goes up itself anyway. 1 pip. Is it going to go any more? Probably not. We'll go with 1 pip, which will be 3 pips to the stop loss. And we are going to get the signal, so you can see our risk calculated on the screen. Price did jump up immediately after we get in, so we're probably about halfway to the stop loss, just under that. Will this let us put it in? It will not. So our risk is $42.99. We'll have to manually close it off when it gets to that stage. Getting very close to a would-be stop loss now. And there we go. We have to close them off manually because that would have cut us off. You can see there exactly 3 pips, $42.90 lost. The risk was $42.99. Sadly, we've been led in here, not surprising at all to us. We did say this has just been ranging, no action at all with it, the ATR incredibly low. These are all signs that this was going to be a weak trade. Something to think about. It could be an idea to say you're not going to enter the trade unless it's 1 pip volatility, because you know then that there is no action going. We do see it come back down. Whether the teeth are going to cross the lips, it's very close. About half an hour on now, 25 minutes past 2. At the moment it looks like we were cut out right at the top. We saw it come back down and range and drop again. If we hadn't been out, we would have taken profit. We could see that distance there, about 4.3 pips. Even with the spread accounted for, we just about would have snagged some, and our trailing stop loss would still be going. Still no signal for the minute. Let's see what price does next. After climbing for a period, we are now seeing it come sharply off the top. Just finished with a green candle, but a flash of red comes in there. If a few more candles come and they are not sufficiently green, we are almost certainly going to see a cross here. There's the crossover. Let's just wait for the end of this candle to confirm it all, and then we're in. ATR reading 1.2 pips. And here's a first. Even though we have seen the crossover, because price has closed above the jaw, we cannot take this trade. We would effectively be entering the trade and then immediately closing it. So this is no signal for us. It's very close though. Had the ATR pulled up ready, everything all set to go. What we don't want to see now is an immediate turn to red, because then these averages will not recross. We won't have an entry signal to get back in. Price is now pushing green though. It's the buying of the euro. So it actually seems quite fortuitous that this came up enough to get above the jaws. Getting in here, including the spread, that would have been a straight stop loss. We've seen the lines recross though, so we may see an entry signal if this wants to go properly red. We're just under 15 minutes until the inflation numbers. We are now seeing a crossover. Not optimistic about this signal because the averages really have just been on top of one another for quite a while now. You can see the range and the whipsaw of price action that's been going on. Nevertheless, the signal does look as though it's going to come, and at least our ATR giving a nice reading of 1.5, so we've got a bit more to work with on the trade. There's our risk, a couple seconds now until the close, and we are in. Bit of a jump there. Let's fix that stop loss and take profit in, and our trailer there. We've got to zoom out to see our take profit level. There it is. Let's hope that we've got a true move now. You can see this horrible range that's been going on. And even if we get back to the top of it with this ask price stretching as far as it does from this giant spread, it will knock us out. This trade has been steadily moving into our favor as the inflation numbers hit now at 330. We can see the volatility increases in our favor. We're immediately able to take profit there. Trailing stop loss kicks in. That's going to bump in, and it is going to snap back up and take the stop loss there. So within about 35 seconds of the release of the inflation data, we went all the way down to taking profit and then coming back up and triggering the trailing stop loss. There we go. So our trailing stop loss trade finished with only 95-cent profit, but at least we did make money again on this one. On these non-trending days, we've really seen the ratio trades do better than the trailing stop loss ones. It's what you'd expect to see, but we still have that $167 trend one that we did have with the trailing stop loss from day one that dwarfs a lot of these beats for the ratio. And the CPI number month on month does come in at 0.4%, exactly as forecast, and they'd like to see it slow more than that, but it's not so bad that it's running way out of control. Price runs down a lot more. Would have been nice if we hadn't been knocked out. We did have 4.5 pips worth of return though, so it was a fairly generous ATR. We can see how it's spiking now though. It's already at 2.2 pips. And just for our records, the core CPI month on month did come out at 0.2% as well, exactly as forecast. Expect to see higher volume and volatility throughout the afternoon and into the evening time now. Doesn't look like we will get a trade anytime soon though. Price continues to push down. Would have loved to have been in this move. Just gone 4 o'clock, and we can see at last 15-20 minutes or so, price very rangy. Still seeing a higher ATR, but it has come off the tops there. Got to about 4.5 pips, now currently showing at 2.8. Nearly got a crossover from the lips over the teeth, but didn't quite come. Still seeing uncertainty in price. All of a sudden though, only 5 minutes later, we do have the lips coming across the teeth. They crossed over very quickly. Got an ATR at 2.5 pips, so it'll be 7.5 to the stop loss. can see our risk calculated on the screen, and we are going to be getting in with this confirmation of a sell trade. This is going to be a wider stop loss and take profit. Both stop loss and take profit seem to be outside of the range, so that is quite nice to see. Well, it's nice to see the stop loss out of the range at least. And there's plenty of volume in the market still, which means a move could happen. The space that we've got to our stop loss won't be the issue, I would imagine. If we get cut out, more likely to be from price moving above the jaw. Has got about 3 pips worth of that, but we want a red candle. Don't stay hunkered up in here. Don't waste this volume on bouncing back and forth. So a proper move. In true alligator fashion though, the price bounces back up in this range. It's going to close above the jaw, so we'll manually shut those down. Yeah, not a good trade there. $30 lost a piece. We did have a really wide stop loss to work with, but once these lines start getting on top of one another, your signal is going to lead you into a mess. We can see price pushing up pretty powerfully now. Really big green candles coming. And so again, closing it off on the reversal of the signal instead of waiting for the stop loss did save us some money. Another big bump in price here. It is getting into the highs of the day. If you got in on this uptrend here, it is going very nice for you. Gone 5 o'clock now. Since it peaked, price has really just been ranging. Again, the volume is still sort of there, trailing off a little bit, but we're not seeing a move at all. The lips and the teeth crossing back and forth over one another. Even if it stays within a range, eventually it'll drift into giving us a signal. And here we do see that a couple red periods, and both the lips and the teeth move a little bit across the jaw. Assuming we get the close, we'll be in a sell trade 45 seconds time. ATR currently showing 2.1 pips. That means you can see from our risk on screen that it's 6.3 pips to the stop loss. That's our confirmation. Let's sell it off. And a stop loss and take profit, why not? And why not a trading stop loss to boot? Obviously we are in at the bottom end of the range, which means our stop loss is inside the price range that we're seeing. It's not beyond the highs of the day. Doesn't make us feel great. But hey, maybe this is the range down, and this is exactly what the alligator's been waiting for. It's been holding off on a crossover until it knew the move was going to come, and that is what we're seeing now. Price definitely moving to our favor here. The take profit level comes into sight, and it only takes one big candle that's ever so slightly finished above the jaw there. Keeps moving against us. We've got to close those down, manually shut them off. Looked quite good for a second there. Did look like it was going to head towards our profits, but a range is going to range, and so it whipsaws back up above the jaw. And so that will be it for our final session. 8 trades today, 6 losses, 2 gains. Really weak day again. Let's zoom out and see all of our trades from the day. At least we weren't in this here. That doesn't look like it would be any better in the Asia session. A lot of trades, and if we were going to make money, it would have had to have been in here, but we got caught back out by the trading stop loss. That was 330 inflation numbers. If we hadn't been caught out, we could have got a really strong run down to that level and potentially had a trade around about the $100, $150 mark. As is though, a lot of losses, a lot of false signals from the alligator, and a lot of having to close down trades when price reclosed across the jawline. Here's what our 3 days look like on the 5-minute chart. Pretty erratic, a lot of trading. And there's our 4-hour chart. You can see this was all meant to be about the sell trades, but a lot of the time since we've been in here, it's been green candles on the 4-hour chart. Realistically, price is just ranging even on this chart. I'm sure the alligator wouldn't do so well there. And for the day, we do finish down $306.98. Not good results, obviously. I hope that everyone didn't just watch the first day with that nice trending environment where we got the big trade, the big money in. If all someone watched was that, then they're in trouble, because they did not see the last 2 days where we were in range city, bad signals left and right. Such are the markets though. Let's round off all of the trades from the strategy in the journal. Journal here, let's check out the bottom line first. Doesn't make for pleasant reading. Negative $319. That's around about $106.33 lost every single day. 25 trades over 3 days. Definitely not shorter signals, that's for sure. The 1-minute chart will give that to you. And as we saw, day one started pretty nicely, lured us in with this particularly big trend trade here, $167.58. And you can tell this was more of a trending environment, not only because of the results, but we didn't have any trades that we had to close out because price quickly ran across the jawline. Pretty much they either went for the stop loss or went for the take profit. That did change when we came into day 2 though, and suddenly we got battered by losses in the morning and quite a few half losses in there as well. Those trades that we did have to shut down because price reclosed across the jaw. It's disappointing, but if you're taking every signal, those are the ones you're going to get as well. We managed to claw some money back late in the afternoon, but they were very small wins, 2 of them. Only one trailing stop loss really pushed it. And finally today, similar to yesterday, a lot of losses, a lot of half losses. Again, a lot of the trades were short as well. You can see even just from today's trades, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. These are very in and out. Our starting balance was $8,774.33, but after all those losses, down to $8,455.33. Still, at least by managing our risk appropriately with 1% capital risk per trade, we haven't seen our account totally collapse, but we still got a good sample size of trades to know exactly what we think about the strategy. So with that in mind, let's take it over to our final thoughts on it. I want to just start by talking about something that we struggled with in the strategy, which was when we were given the narrowest reading that we'd take from our ATR. With the stop loss at just 3 pips from our entry price, we were at times not actually permitted to set our stop loss at that distance. Now, we didn't find it a problem with any other ATR reading which came higher, but it does mean that you may want to increase the minimum reading that you round the ATR to, possibly to say 1.2 pips for a 3.6 pip stop loss. It's better in my opinion than having to worry about manually close the trade off where your risk level should be. Also, with such a tight stop loss, you'll likely want to find a broker with lower spreads than what we were getting in this one. You could tell from seeing both the bid price line and the ask price line how with such a low ATR reading the spreads would take around about a third of the distance to the stop loss sometimes. Not ideal for the trade. For the core strategy though, I'm sure you noticed that much of its success or failure appears to hinge on whether your trading environment in the markets is a range or a trend, because when price was in a range, the results were an absolute tragedy. It is difficult for me to overstate how appalling the strategy performed in those circumstances. Closing our trades when we lost the signal from the Alligator by price recrossing did save us from a couple complete losses here and there, but it meant shutting down so many trades that we just got into because price suddenly hopped back above the jaw. This isn't only bad for the bank balance, but can also make the Alligator a very frustrating indicator to work with. We did see on day 1 that if you do get a trending environment, then it can potentially pull some good trades out of the bag, especially if you get some fortune and your trailing stop loss doesn't get knocked out by retracement. But you will have to do some major tweaking to the strategy to make sure that you get those trending environments and don't end up in the range. Based on the performance of the strategy, I obviously couldn't recommend anyone actually try it out as is, and I struggle for any more suggestions without just removing the Alligator or making it an entirely different strategy. I'm sure many will blame the 1 minute time frame for its inconsistency, and I would agree that it probably doesn't help things, but I don't think that you could step onto the daily time frame and all of a sudden find great consistency and profitability. Not without those tweaks at least, because the range can happen on any and all time frames. So that is my final thought, that if you do want to trade anything resembling this strategy, then you have to find a way to avoid those ranges if you want to make any profit. No two ways about it. That's it for the strategy, but if you have developed an addiction to it, there is more information in the description. And a final word of warning that all of these trades were taken with demo money. Fear not, we did not lose any real cash on these trades, and nor would we without testing the strategy out first, which is exactly what we've done here. If you do feel like you have to go ahead and trade it, I'm not going to tell you what not to do. Thank you for watching. This is Project Trade. I am Adam Smith's final descendant, and there will be more.